guys, how's it going? Comparing here. So today I'm going to do another review of the alpha version of the card. We've got 8 chocolate block today. Again, I want to do 2 and then they have released some interesting ones. A little more interesting than what's already in my opinion. And because of that, I have a few opinions about what's going on. So I think what's going on is they're trying to hype up this.
Va? Jag vet inte. Jaha, jag tyckte vart är din sovsäck?
Ja,
Vilken är min då? Ser fan inte ens.
min sovsäck.
Det är din, ja.
Jag har madrass också.
Här är min.
Har du madrass? Har någon madrass?
Här är din. Min. Din, min. Min, din.
A little bit more right before I launch. That's kind of what you want to do. You want to get 2 little pieces, then the better cards, then the more interesting cards, and then the overpowered cards, and then you launch it. Like, so I think it's kind of like a marketing thing. And Ben said his top 5 cards after you release them. I think he really was mine. I think this is exactly their design plan. And it's working because, well, the cards getting better, getting more hype, and I want to play more. So, there's that, and they have released about half the cards so far in previews and all that shit. I think we're at 59 out of 120. And I have to say that I think some cards will remain unreleased, so that I would really like to explode when the game comes out. I estimate probably like, at the very least, 10-15 of these other cards won't be on preview until the expansion actually exists. Anyway, onto the cards. So first one here we got Over Ninjas. Very interesting card. It's very interesting because it follows the 50% chance to hit the wrong enemy mechanic, which also happens to be another card that comes to the warrior weapon. This card, the Over Ninja, is a rogue card.
Nej, man tar det lugnt och försiktigt.
5 for 6/6 stealth. And this is kind of the card that's fairly faded. 5? Inconstructed might work. It's kind of
Nej men alltså jag ändrade och så gick jag och pissade innan. Jag tror det var innan förra gamet, jag har väl haft det här gamet antar jag är trött. Dutti sover. Vidar och All gick precis till sovsalen. Henke sover, Axel sover, Felix spelar WoW. Jag borde väl sova då, antar jag. Jag känner mig inte trött överhuvudtaget, men annars kommer jag säkert sova när de är vakna, så det suger. Ja, nu ska jag kolla på den här videon i alla fall.
Is taken into account and so much will change. It's kind of difficult to know if how this card will fit into the meta game will be possible once so much has already changed. So this card is really good because, well, to show the stats with 5 and SL, or kill attacks once, usually is the case. And it kind of works with Rogue. Rogue has a fairly easy time dealing with a lot of small minions. And if you leave a lot of the small minions, you know, they're graveyard, and you leave the big ones on the board, well, this one can be pretty good. Let's say if you've got like a 5/5 tiger or something like that, you can stealth, you can attack face, you can do 6 face, or you can stealth target. Also, what it can do if you're really desperate, it's kind of like the Ragnaros type of card where you can go for a YOLO chance to win. For instance, your opponent has like a taunt wall, you can like combo and eviscerate the face and hope for the best when you attack the taunt. This creature can theoretically attack the wrong enemy in the right way by bypassing taunt hitting the face. So it has some interesting mechanics, but I think Constructed might work, but it's really hard to gauge. I do think an Arena is a very good card. It's comparable to Venture Co Mercenary, which is a very good card in Arena. The downside of Venture Co is that 1, it gets frozen a lot, and 2, it gets hit with peacekeeping effects, so like Humility or other peacekeeping work in Paladin. And that makes it really, really, really terrible against specific classes. However, with this card, it doesn't really have the weaknesses. The weakness is not really as big in the stats as you can actually say. Like, the Venture Co Mercenary, it's 5 for 7/6, but you don't really use that 7 point of attack, really. I mean, just about never does it actually matter. Like a 6 health is important, and I think 5, maybe 6 attack is important. This card kind of fits that with perfectly the stats, very, very good. And it has a function in Arena. Like in Arena, both players have an empty board where it has some guard that you really backstab, which is frequently the case when you're playing rogue or your weapon, let's say. You play Ogre Ninja, and that actually stops him in his tracks because there's no card for this amount of mana that really challenges it. So what happens is, if your opponent is sitting on like a Yeti or something like that, instead of playing the Yeti, he's probably going to play nothing. So that makes the rogue very comfortable. You can often get a sprint, you can pretty much dominate the board in that sense. And because of that, because it is a rogue card, because it is so threatening, even though it may not actually work, when you're using this card, you're like, oh, maybe at home that kind of sucks. But when you're, when you're facing this card, you gotta think of it that way. You don't want to play a Yeti. You don't want to play a Skyrim Tiger. So what happens is you're gonna play nothing, you're gonna get tempered out, and you're gonna get smashed. So this card is actually very, very strong, even though it has that random factor. So I feel that the can't be too much. Also, in arena, red point strike, it's stealth. That's pretty sick by itself. On to the next card, we have Doomwall Shaman. It's a Shaman card, and it has a similar thing to 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy. Now, 60% this card's pretty good because, it's against an empty board, you can do a shitload of damage, just 4 mana, but I argue it's not very good. One, because you're playing against like a mage that dies to a creature that's ping. It's really only good in a situation where the Shaman is dominating the board, you kill something with spells and finish the attack. Because it has 4 health, and because for the win period actually really work, you kind of need to have a clear board on your opponent's stake. Yes, the card is good in terms of value, 4 for a 5/4, or 4/1, not too big of a deal because of control. It's a 4-drop. Shamans don't really have many 4 drops to begin with, so it kind of fits the narrative very well. It kind of works with cards like Rockwhite or that kind of stuff, but I just think it's going to be fairly infrequent to pull it off. And I think specifically in Arena, Shaman rares are ridiculous, so more than likely there's going to be a better option, and I think this card in the rare spot specifically for Arena is far more better. As far as constructed goes, well, I think a lot of people are going to play really sticky minions. I think that's kind of the name of the game in terms of the zoo. I don't think Zoo's going away. If Zoo's not going away, this card's kind of crappy, so I don't think it's really that good, but who knows? If Shaman removal kind of takes the cake and can dominate the board fairly easily, maybe it'll work, but as it stands, for my opinion, it's kind of like a win more card in a class that if you're already winning, you pretty much stay on where you're winning anyway, so I'm not too good. Then we have the rogue card Sabotage. I think Sabotage is possibly one of the best cards released so far. It's 4 mana to destroy a random enemy minion, so it's like Deadly Shot for 1 more mana. The combo effect is also used for their opponent's weapon. So people compare it to Deadly Shot, but it's not really a valid comparison because Hunter has so many ways to remove creatures. One with Freeze Trap, just Hunter's Mark, and like a Leash combo, there's a lot of crap like that. And Rogue has a lot of removal for small creatures. As far as big creatures, they don't really have much. And because of that, when you look at Arena, for instance, most rogues that don't have Assassinate can't actually get past 8 or 9 wins. Can't deal with big minions. It's so inefficient for trading for it. And this card fits that part perfectly. Also, because it's an epic card, yes, you won't see it very frequently, but when you do, probably the best one. It's the most epic game of garbage. And Rogue, no exception. Preparation, anyone? Yeah. Sabotage is ridiculous considering all of those things. So, it's also not to mention that it doesn't remove the effects of other opponents simultaneously. So killing a card like Tyrion will not kill the Ash Barrier. But what the card also does, that's very notable, is that in Arena, the worst matchup for Rogue is a Warrior. And that's because the Warrior can usually, when you have slight board control, play a weapon, dominate board control, and still have that creature. So it fits that slot perfectly. In that specific situation, you can play like a small creature like a 2-drop, which rogues often have because that's a really good deck, because it needs a combo with other cards. You play that, you play Sabotage, you kill the weapon, you kill the creature, and you're in a ridiculously good position. So you can kind of use it as an assassinate when you need to, because it has very efficient removal for small creatures. It helps against Warrior. It's an epic card. It's a really good card. It's a very good value in terms of mana. And I think because of all those factors, it's actually going to be very significantly constructed as well. The only situation where it won't be is if pretty much everyone's playing some kind of Death Rattle Zoo or Mech Zoo or it's just to destroy a random minion with cores is very, very inefficient. That might be the case. So again, it's very hard to gauge. Next card up is Bell card. It's 5 to deal 5 damage to a minion. Every demon shield is 5/5. So it's basically Demon Fire, but it's a very, very good version. part
Nej,
of it.
fan.
And because it's so significant, I think it's actually
Jag är inte väl kvar en gång.
reasonable to compare it to Blessing of Kings. Blessing of Kings is really good because of the 4 health, so it's significant because it pretty much lets any garbage minion played in the early game kill pretty much any minion played in the mid to late game and survive to kill another one. So in terms of arena, this card works very frequently like Kings, plus you have the option to do 5 damage to an enemy minion, and I think you can probably draft enough demons for it to actually crush it. And because of that, I think this card is very solid in arena, and again, it's an epic card. Epics in arena are pretty large. So there's that. In constructed, it seems pretty bad, because if you're playing Warlock, right now the Warlock is very divided, you have a very slow deck and you have a very fast deck. And this doesn't really work either. So because of that, I think you constructed, unless things change, it won't be used pretty much at all. But one other thing to note is that this card's pretty sick card. Now, I don't really care about this stuff, man. This is deception. This is like a druid with claw that got like demonly possessed and he's got like illidan horns. I don't know. It's just super cool. I want to paint this. Anyways, next card. Scarlet Purifier. This card is out of a set of 3 cards that are released at the same time that you with Death Rattle. This is a Paladin card. It's 3 for 4/3. And it's very important to note that specifically for a Paladin, the 4 attack and the 3 health is not that good. If it was 3 attack and 4 health, or even 5, it'd be much better because on turn 4, often you are playing choose champion or some other variation of card, king, that kind of stuff. At the very least, and constructed what's a Paladin, right? So this card is supposed to deal with Death Rattles, but because it deals damage to all minions with Death Rattle, you can kind of combo your own Death Rattle minions. So you can basically play this if there's a lot of decks playing Death Rattle, or their minions, kind of, doesn't work very well against eggs, but because of that, you can basically use it with eggs on your own side. Paladin has a lot of buffs, put eggs in there anyway, and this is just another activator, and another counter Death Rattle, and stats aren't the worst. So in constructed, if Paladin somehow makes some deck competitive, this card may even use it. I don't know, it's kind of an outside theory. As far as arena, the stats are pretty solid. The ability is pretty solid. In arena, you just pick up random minions a lot, you just happen to have Death Rattle, you can do damage to them, and being able to control when you play it makes this card fairly good. Certainly doesn't compete with a lot of other rares, like, well, is by far the best, and probably a lot of neutral rares, but as it stands, I think it's pretty cool. I was just hoping that these stats at the very least first could be a 3-4, and then actually maybe really help the Paladin. Next card up is another one dealing with Death Rattle minions. It's a neutral taunt minion, so as a base, it's basically a crappy Taunt Warrior. Taunt Warrior is really crappy already, so if you're not playing against a Death Rattle guy, if Death Rattle is not a thing constructed, this card sucks. But if it is, if Death Rattle is pretty common, if everyone's playing Mood Board or some other variation of some Death Rattle card, well, it's pretty good. If your enemy just has 1 Death Rattle minion, it's 3/4 taunt, which is pretty good. And most Death Rattle minions actually have a high amount of health and a low amount of attack, so buffing up to 4 health, even just once, will often give you some decent stopping power, some decent power. In arena, I think this card kind of sucks. It's optimistic to think that you actually be able to play it as a Death Rattle minion, and when you do, it's not that significant. I kind of compare this card in my mind to Blood Knight, where you usually hold on to it until you're desperate just to play a minion. So Blood Knight is really good, but when it's really good, it wins you the game, because it's like a turn 3, 6/6. But when it's not really good, it's like a turn 7, I run out of cards, I'm playing a 3/3/3. Now this card, when you play it on turn 3, it's not as much of a win as later in the game when you play it as a 2/3 taunt because you have nothing else in hand. It's much crappier than Blood Knight. So I think this card is really bad in arena, and things have to get pretty specific and constructed for it to really work. Though they might, because our next card, Feigned Death. Trigger all Death Rattles in your minion. It's a hunter card, it's 2 mana. Some people really complain about this card because it seems